Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. Of course, as we told you, there's no way we could talk to Tishauna Mullings and do it in one interview. And so we want to welcome you back to part 2 of our chat with Tishauna about the social sector and how the social entrepreneurs will be helping to develop and cause our economy to thrive. Take a look at what she has to say. A lot of times, and again, when we look into these communities, we see the social intervention being put in, but it then goes to be run by the very people who are driving the issues. Because when you say, all right, we're going to create some jobs, so we're building the community center, but then the project goes to the Don. Is there a great need for government to focus on proper social enterprises and use them to drive solution in terms of social interventions?
Yeah, so it takes us back to what we were saying earlier about when it comes to building a thriving social sector, the role of all actors is very important.
Absolutely.
Because from a legal perspective, you need legislation and policies to govern how you're running different initiatives. There are a lot of people who are grant-taking organizations, and those are usually foundations, NGOs, who sometimes don't spend the funds for what the funds should be, the intended purpose of the funds. So we have to make sure that we're looking out for those things. That social enterprises are also playing their role. So it's about all the actors working together to make sure that the system is being run well.
How can government policy and government legislation help to improve the whole social sector, the functioning of social enterprises to drive development and growth?
No, this is one of the reasons why the Legal Status Act is something that I'm a part of the Social Enterprise Working Group, and we've been back and forth with different partners, sending our reports into Parliament, getting feedback, because we want to ensure that people are not just jumping in the sector to say, I want to be a social enterprise, because they want to eventually be able to list on the social stock exchange and to get funds and then not use the funds well. Right? So in terms of making sure that in terms of taxation, the right thing is being done to ensure that those that you're calling beneficiaries or customers, that they are getting the benefits and the support that they should be getting. So you need to make sure that from a legal perspective, policy perspective, ensure that the capacity building organizations such as the JBDC understands social enterprises inside out, the measurement of social impact, so that you can keep them accountable, so that what they claim that they're doing as a social enterprise and the impact that they claim that they're making, they're actually making. So we need to make sure that at all sides that, accountability.
Accountability is very important. Is social enterprise on the cusp of real development in Jamaica? Are we seeing more social entrepreneurs? And with the advent of things like the social stock exchange, should we expect to see an expansion in that area?
I definitely think there is an expansion taking place, slowly but surely, and with more knowledge about what a social enterprise is. So of course, there are projects that are now listed on the social stock exchange, projects star list. So people are getting an understanding. People are trying to understand what's the difference between the regular stock market and the social stock exchange. And, I find myself explaining to a lot of people that, these are projects that's now listed. When the projects are now fully funded, they kind of go off the project listing. But when we have the official Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, they're going to list quite similar to what is happening on the junior market and so on, which is going to be different from what is happening now with the project listing. More people are becoming more socially conscious, so they are starting businesses with a social purpose, and there are lots more examples locally, and new social enterprises, other persons who have been players in the space. So yeah, I think we're on the cusp of something great. And a number of us who are currently in the sector, we're getting training on measuring our impact as well. So I think we, solidifying our operations, making sure that we have solid boards, solid impact reports. I think when time comes, when the social stock exchange is live, and you have the initial social enterprises listed, then that again will cause a lot of people to,
Your international partners, because there's always been a lot of international players in that industry. Why? Why would they figure they have a need to play a role? And are they really looking? Are they satisfied with what they were seeing and really excited about?
So you're talking about like international funders who funds projects, who funds capacity development programs. Right. I mean, the world is a global playing field more than ever. You know what I mean? You don't even have to leave to go to another place. So based on the interconnection, and if we're really a global family, like we say we know that donors can have their personal interests as well. And I don't think it's any different from when we have investors who invest in road infrastructure, developing factories and all kinds of things. So just like how we have that in the regular space, we also have that in the social sector. So I believe that the partners, I trust that their interest in developing the social sector, strengthening capacity of the capacity building organizations, as well as smaller micro actors in the space. Yes. I want to believe that they're well intentioned. And right now we had a climate investment grant as well, helping government partners and capacity building organizations to have the skills that they need to understand the social sector, understand measuring impact, and know how to support smaller enterprises.
I'm happy you went to that climate fund. We're seeing more of that coming to the fore. We hear about climate change, hear about green bonds, the different color economies and so on.
Blue, green, orange, purple.
The social sector, you have specific, at different points in time there are particular things that you want to achieve. So you support the youth at risk, you support the elderly. What is the big thing now? Is it the climate that's the big thing now, and that's what you are driving as a sector?
There are several things, right? So of course climate change is a big thing, and social enterprises having a triple bottom line, people, profit, planet, right? So the green economy features a lot in social enterprise. People development features a lot as well. I think certain issues are always going on, like homelessness, unattached youth, elderly, so on, dealing with the elderly. People are always getting old as the life cycle continues, and they will always have needs. So there are certain social services and social problems that social enterprises address that will always be here as long as humanity continues, right? Of course, currently there's a big climate crisis, so there are matters around awareness. There are matters around how we use the sun, water, and various resources around us effectively. And yeah, a lot of social enterprises are waking up to it. When we look at the nature of some of the DBJ grants, there are grants that are particular to businesses that have a climate focus. So I would say that in our environment, we're being responsive. And back to the question that you asked earlier about international donors. International donors usually look at what is the issue in the Caribbean, in Jamaica in particular, right? And if those persons who are applying for the grants are smart, even if the donor's objective seem to be a little bit different from what you think is is a crisis or a looming challenge that you need to address in a project. You write your project smartly,
Okay.
you know what I mean, to address the issue that is there and to see to what extent it can serve what the funder is looking for in terms of their objective. And where that meet, where that marriage takes place, you know, I mean, the possibilities are endless. And nowadays, I said to young people, money is out there, money is everywhere, international money, money locally through DBJ. Apply, look at the issues around you in your community and apply.
Back to where we started, where it all started for you, St. Thomas. The new frontier, all of a sudden, the highways.
All of a sudden in most people's minds.
Yes.
But
The new frontier with the new highway and all the development that's coming.
yes.
But it does pose social problems with the kind of development that we're seeing, as does any new development. And you now have to ensure that your climate challenges are mitigated up front. Is St. Thomas, given its newfound status, an area that the social entrepreneurs are paying close attention to?
I don't know if they are paying attention. I know I am. And I know that, as you said, with the coming of this development will come various challenges as well. I'm hoping that a crime challenge doesn't develop. And I'm saying no, that we can do something about it because you can see different things shaping up, right? I think that we need to build the capacities of people to be able to benefit from the development. Because if, as a St. Thomas native, you see people from left, right, and center coming into your home to benefit from this development, and you can't benefit, or you don't have the capacity to tap in, then it will start eliciting certain feelings that might lead to crime and violence. Right? So I think it's very important, and anybody hearing this, to build the capacity of our people. So of course we want people to paint, we want security guards, we want all of those people, but we need to train up young investors as well. So when opportunities come to invest, they understand real estate market, they understand various types of investment, they understand different types of equity. So when they start their businesses and they're looking for equity for their business, they know what they're about, so that they're solid business persons, right? There's going to be the urban center, right? And I've always advocated and asked, how much of that is actually going to be for micro businesses? So we know that you're going to have the government offices and the KFCs and the potential cinema and all these things. But there must be also a space for micro businesses, for budding businesses. If we're going to move the town from in the town of Morant Bay to out by where SDC is, that area where Goodyear was. So that's where the urban center is being built. What does that mean for the, you know, the actual current town, you know? So there are lots of things. Of course, there are many plans that are being discussed at the moment through, you know, the parish council and at the high level. But you know, I'm just beseeching and saying we must think about all people at all levels. And our people, we don't want Paul Bogle turning his grave to say, I fought to see this parish developed and our people liberated. I know it's everybody from everywhere else. Of course, we welcome the people from everywhere else, but we want the locals, the natives, to also benefit from what is taking place in our home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good point, and on which to wrap. Ensuring good community development going forward. As we always say here on Let's Talk Stocks, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us tomorrow morning at 9. Another wonderful program awaits.